aspects of culture. So the core aspects of culture include value discipline, the values, and the personality. Now, what does it mean? There are three different aspects, right? So value discipline and values, when you put them together, it gives your company a personality, a very specific personality, which is easily identifiable. So what is value discipline? Now, value discipline is the strategic advantage that a company chooses to have using any of the three value disciplines that it might which match with its product. For instance, you can choose to have, you can work on the cost and operating efficiency. If you take a McDonald's, for instance, the cost and operating efficiency is what sets them apart from its different from its competitors, right? So it gives them a competitive advantage. You can't be cheaper than McDonald's when it comes to buying a burger. Then you have, of course, the product innovation, the Apples of the world, which are expensive. They spend a lot of money on, let's say, on research and keep up with the market in terms of, they're very expensive, but the focus is developing better and better products. The third, of course, is customer intimacy, which is finding or developing a process which allows the customer to be king. So they spend a lot of time in ensuring that all the customers' needs, their individual requirements, everything has been taken care of. Let's say something like a 5-star hotel, maybe a Ritz-Carlton. They spend a lot of money ensuring that they have a very, very close relationship with their customers. Now, if you're looking at these three value disciplines, I have to align the personality and the values of the organization with whichever value discipline that you choose out of these three, right? I can't have all three. I must choose one, and my entire personality has to be aligned with that particular value discipline that I have chosen. So what are values on the other hand? So values are the organization's stated and desired cultural elements, which means they're written, most often it's a written and a stated tone that the CEO or the president hope to exude, right? Which they want to kind of push through the organization and throughout the office environment. So values are something which a president or a CEO would like to inculcate in every employee through the written documentation, through information, whatever is stuck on the walls. So values are always put as a point, what are the main things that the company will always focus on. So it becomes the crux of any organization. It helps the organization in smooth functioning. It endures beliefs or ideals. It endures what beliefs and what ideals should be shared about the amongst the members, about what is desirable and what is not. Now, there was somewhere I read that values are knowing how to act without being told in an organization and what is going to be preferred behavior. Without being told, that's the main thing, that you know that this is not going to be accepted by the organization, or this will be expected by the organization, not for profit, but it's the overall enduring belief which everyone should have within the organization. It exerts major influence on the behavior of any individual in the organization. So values become the crux of any organization. It helps organization into a smooth functioning, obviously, because everybody is thinking alike. They know what kind of behavior is expected, what is not. It endures. It has an enduring beliefs or ideals shared by the members about what is desirable and what is not, what is going to be accepted by the management and what is not. Exert major influence on the behavior of an individual. Now, let's just take, it serves as a broad guideline for all situations. Now, let's take little examples of it. Where do we see these kind of values coming brought forward. If you take a company, I don't want to name the company, but a very major consulting firm, they decided that you have to be extremely ethical. Whatever you do, you have to be extremely ethical, because business depends, or the success of the business depends on how ethical you are. Now, how do you translate that into action? Now, when I do those workshops, or when I was doing workshops in that company, I found that nobody was ever late. Nobody was ever late. In fact, very often they would come before the faculty, which meant that there were certain rules. Right? So they said integrity is very important, ethics is very important. So ethics means coming to workshops on time. And what happens if you are not coming on time? Well, they would deduct $100 straight from the salary of the person. Now that's values in action. You will never find anybody being late, or anybody even trying to make an extra buck, for any expense account, or try to make a call, because they said our values are being ethical, because we have to work with our clients and we have to ensure that everybody is ethical. You have to be ethical about the smallest of things. Now those are values. If you're saying integrity is a value, ethics is a value, it has to be translated into action. So now let's look at the next part of values. Now when we repeat a certain behavior, what do you think happens? When it becomes a habit, right? How do you get a habit? By doing the same thing again and again and again. So personality is nothing but that. If I have certain values, I have certain behaviors, and I repeat it, it becomes a continuous repeated action. Now let's take a very famous 5-star hotel. Now their values, as usual, as most 5-star hotels have, is that we have to be very good to the customers. And they said, okay, how do we show that we are very good, or how do we develop that value of taking care of our customers? And they said, if you come within 10 feet of a customer, you must smile and greet them and ask them if there's any help they need or whatever. So they have put a rule over there. As I said, for the other company, they put a rule that you have to be on time. In this case, they said you must greet your guest if he's within 10 feet of you. Now, the continuous repeated action automatically became what? It created a personality for the hotel, which is very caring. That, if you go to that hotel, you are very sure, you can be very sure that you'll be taken care of and the people are going to be well trained. But it was started with creating a measurement. It gave them exactly what they're supposed to do, and there was no doubts in the minds of the people or the employees as to what kind of behavior was expected of them. So let's see how this thing works, right? So we'll do a little exercise over here. Very simple exercise. When you think of Tata, the company Tata, it's all over the place. It's one of the largest companies. What kind of image do you relate to the most? So if Tata was a company, if Tata is a company, if Tata was a human being, if it was a person and it had a personality, what kind of personality do you think Tata would have? Would it be this gentleman? Would it be this young guy, looking very professional but young? This one in very casual clothes, this very angry person, and this young, very childish looking person. Now, who do you think Tata, if it was a human being, who would it be? I think most of us would have the same answer, because the personality of Tata is very wise. They're not greedy, they're very serious. It's not somebody who's going to be, angry. Tata can't be angry somehow. You don't see that. Most likely it would be the first person on the in the shirt, because he's formal, He looks professional, he looks kind, doesn't look very angry or any of those things. So if you think of Tata, I think that would be the one. Now you can do the next exercise and tell me what you think about Google. If Google was a person, what kind of a personality do you think Google would have? Would it be this one? This one? So which one do you think Google would be? Would it be, it's a very young, if I think of Google, if I close my eyes and I think of Google, I get it's a very young thing. I feel I'm not going to fit in somehow. So it has to be a young place, a young company. It also has a very intelligent feel. So they are very geeky somehow. It can be a girl or a boy. And it doesn't look like a person who, they're not crazy kind of people. They are very committed. So the guy with, with the red bandana somehow doesn't fit in. The guy in the suit doesn't fit in. That boy in the middle with the mittens and all that somehow is not really Google, because Google looks too cool. That person looks very unhappy. Whereas the first two people somehow look to me more like how I would identify with the Google personality. I want to think about it. Do you think I'm right, or do you think you have some other feeling? Please share. Please let us know what you think. Now, we come to the next part, which is organizational personality. We understand what is organizational personality, and if I was to define it, how is your organization known to others? How would you and others characterize the organization? How do you feel about organizational personality? Now, the benefits of organizational personality they're pretty obvious. It serves to attract customers. You understand, if your organization has a good personality, people will like to come. If it's a hotel, it matters. If it's the personality is like a McDonald's, you will attract people for the product, for the service that you offer, the kind of, the kind of food at what price. All those things are helping you attract customers. It also, of course, helps you attract the right employees, because you know as an employee what kind of an organization you would like to work with, whether you reverberate with it or not. Shareholders, obviously, shareholders can understand whether your strategy is clear, whether it is focused, whether it makes sense to invest in that company. It serves as a source of competitive advantage. Yes, when your strategy is very clear and it goes with your organizational personality, matches your strategy, it gives you a very clear competitive advantage over your competitors. It increases the corporate value. Of course, when you're trying to make an investment, you look for the identity of the organization. Now, we look at the brand personality. We look at the company's clarity of thought, or what is their competitive advantage, and it adds a lot of value to the intangible value of the organization. You know that the company is headed in the right direction and it's not lost somewhere in trying to do too many things. Let's do a little reflective exercise. What do you value as an organization? Now, I want to think about your organization. This is not about me, you. It's about your organization. What does your organization feel to be its most important quality? Is it efficiency? Is it customer service? Is it because it's a lot of fun to work there? Is it the hospitality that you offer? Is the technology very leading edge? Is it very state of the art? What is it? I want to think about it and tell us. Take a few minutes. Now, the answer could be any of the 3 value disciplines that your company is following. If you if you just go back to the slide, if it is very efficiency, if you're rewarding efficiency, time, speed of operations, you're obviously following what kind of a system are you following in that case? It would be process. You're rewarding the process. If I'm looking at customer service, obviously customers become very important. If I'm looking at product, then I'm looking at leading edge technology and being very state of the art. Now, if it's very clear, you know what your company is focusing on, automatically all your processes will also fall in place and your culture will be clear. But if you end up getting multiple answers, that we look at process efficiency, we also look at customer service, and we look at hospitality, I think you need to have a little, you have to think a little bit, because you cannot focus on all three at the same time. You can only focus on one. And with that, we come to the end of this exercise and this learning bite. And thank you so much for this session and being with me.